Hey guys, my name is James and you're watching Broman Art. For today's video, we've finally reached the year 2022. For me, it's been a year and a half since I started digital painting. A lot has happened since then, and when you pick up a new hobby or new skill, your journey to pursue this skill ends up being a roller coaster of growth. It doesn't often follow a straight line, and that's okay. Throughout my journey, I've picked up a few things that I'd like to share with you all. There are a lot of them, but I'll start with 5 digital art tips. These tips by all means are not my own, and I learned them from different mentors or other illustrators from YouTube or ArtStation that I admire and follow. It definitely improved my workflow and art quality, so I hope this video helps out any beginning artists out there, including those who's been doing this for a while now. Now starting with number 1. Learn the fundamentals. Meaning learn the basics of art. Really, I know you probably heard this before. If you already have a good foundation of art from doing traditional painting or sketching, then you're off to a great start. If you haven't done art before and decided to try digital art like right away, then I encourage you to start with the basics, like using guidelines for sketching an object or basic anatomy of humans and animals. For landscapes, learning horizon lines and perspective is crucial. Learning values of light and dark and all about color theory, now that's where it really sets off. Now you can choose to learn this from an art school if you have the means to get into one. That's amazing. For others, YouTube is probably the best place for free lessons, although I would probably try not to learn from speed paint and time-lapse videos for now. Other YouTube artists produce content that break down the basics. Could be Ross Draws, Sam Does Art, Blender Guru, Ethan Becker, to name a few. Other online courses are available if you'd like a bit more structure to learning. Highly recommend Paintable, as they start from basics of navigating Photoshop, sketching simple objects like apple or bananas, to painting full portraits. Skillshare, Domestika, and 21 Draw are also great resources. So many options to learn, and highly recommend exploring these. Next, number 2. Flip your canvas. So even in sketching, you flip your canvas every now and then. Flipping your canvas sort of like, I'm not sure about the anatomy or science behind it, but it sort of resets your perspective a bit. So no matter how consistent you think you are or how you're aware of the whole picture of your painting, you tend to forget about it naturally as you get too focused or fixated on a single point of your drawing. So resetting your brain by flipping your canvas helps a lot. It gives you that instant fix. Wherever you think like you're at a loss or you think something's off, you immediately see that, or there's a good chance you see it right away when you flip your canvas. It's kind of like trying to flip your canvas as well as zooming out, making sure the painting is far away from you as possible. Those are the good ways of how to keep your perspective always fresh. So flip your canvas. Number 3. Start your painting with the background. What I've learned from painting several portraits or even landscapes is that it's better to start coloring the background more often than not. Think of it as setting the stage for your subject or story. It helps you determine where your light source is coming from. Like if you put the light source in the upper right of your painting, then your character will have light hit him or her or it on the upper right side as well, and shadows will be casted on the left side. It just makes it a lot easier to determine where is your light and shadows. It also helps you see how your subject will fit in your painting. Like if your background has warm color tones, then naturally your character will have similar color palettes as well. So painting the background, I highly encourage this, especially for beginning artists. So background really helps for me. Number 4, in Photoshop there's a tool called Liquify Tool. Liquify Tool is your best friend, and for the main reason that when you flip, for example, you flip your canvas and you see these errors, instead of erasing them and redrawing them, you can just use Liquify sometimes. If it's not too great of an error, you can just use Liquify a few times to just move the pieces, move the parts of your subject that seems to be a bit off. If it's a bit lower, you can just move it up a bit with the Liquify tool. So Liquify tool is really helpful, and I'd highly recommend you using it more than you think. Last but not the least, now take a break in between your painting, or even if you think you're finished. Now sometimes we get really fixated in finishing a painting, or we feel like we're under pressure or wanting to move on to the next painting or next project that you want to do. Now I really recommend you taking a break even in between your painting, or especially when you think you're finished, because that's when you can make those crucial last minute decisions for your piece. Because sometimes when we spend a few hours, a couple of hours in this painting, we tend to lose sight of what we actually wanted to achieve in this piece. So actually taking a break, few hours, do something else, socialize, or even sleep on it. The next day or the next time you see a painting, you might want to change something, or even improve something, or add something, or change it, or retract your previous decision. You might want a different lighting, a different mood, or maybe you wanted to change a color of a specific subject. Those are the things that you can think of once you make a fresh start, which is taking a break before you call it quits. So it's really important, guys. I think that's it for me. Top 5 that have been really helpful as I journeyed through my digital art process. And hopefully this have helped you guys. If there are any more tips that you guys would like to suggest, feel free to put it down in the comments down below, and I'd be grateful and I'll appreciate it heaps. Now, without further ado, hope you guys keep on practicing your digital art, same as me, keep on growing, and I'll see you next time. Bye.